So you used to have kind of a richer, just human interaction. I'm not even going to say social life, but more richer human interaction. And then you went through a lot of changes, and then you ended up working remote all the time. And now it sounds like almost feels a little bit lonely that you're not kind of having the same social interaction that you used to when you worked in an office and you're home all the time. Does that kind of sound like what the situation is a little bit?
Definitely, but as of late, when I was saying I'm acting out of my normalcies,
Hmm.
I've been in the shop for like 5-ish months, and I'm realizing like you have to go find the socialism thing sort of things now, and I'm getting better at that. I'm really good at ghosting people. Like I have cut off so many friends in my lifetime; it's so sad, but I'm comfortable with it at this point where the hurt doesn't last as long. But I'm finding that the friendships that I have left are not ones that I want to lose like at all. So I'm making a point to go see those people like when I finish work because my schedule's very flexible. I can go as long as like I let her know I'm off by like 3:30 ish, then I can go do whatever. So I'm trying to make a point to go see more people. I've started going to the gym with my best friend, so that's exciting. When people make plans, I stop spending energy on like what's an excuse I can use and started spending energy on like what's that going to be like, what outfit do I wear, and like how do I schedule my day around that. So that's sort of a weird shift also to sort of take accountability for my place in those friendships now, but it's still like it feels like a whole new world basically. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse to be working from home and being lonely.
When you said you had this change in behavior, was that just because things reached a point and like what caused you to finally decide, oh, I'm going to make a change? Or did you notice yourself changing your behavior? How did kind of that come about?
Well, in the beginning, I would laugh about being home alone all the time. Like when people would tell
Mm.
me, like when I told them, "Yo, I have a new work from home job," and my colleagues are like, "You'll be back here in a few months. Like you're gonna miss us, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I hate being here. Like it's just too much talk, yada yada yada." And now I'm home, and like I'm talking to my pets, and I'm just like, "What am I doing? Like what's happening right now?" And so like I would start texting friends more often because working from home, like there's a lot more like in between time you're not actively working consistently. And I'm like, I should go see these people in person. I feel like that would be the next step for me to sort of like feel more normal, I guess. And it's just I don't know what normal is anymore. Nothing feels normal at all. Like I'm struggling to find what my new normal is basically.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of striking my ears through all the things that you're saying is that sounds very lonely. That sounds very lonely to be at home and then to feel like I need to kind of maintain and manage these other relationships and then evaluate those relationships. And that sounds very lonely and very fatiguing.
Yeah,
I think I
definitely.
would feel that way.
Definitely. I feel very like mentally exhausted and like almost socially exhausted, where before when I started this job and I'd see people, it was sort of like when you let your dog loose at a dog park. It's like, oh my god, I'm just happy to see anyone, hi hello. But now it's
Hmm.
like I want to go do this because I know I have to do this. And keeping up those conversations, I find myself I'm pulling back a little bit of those sort of like people pleasing sort of social ness that I used to follow. And I'm kind of happy about it. I was talking to someone, I think Friday night, I actually went out to go hang out with a friend at his place, and he had two new friends that I hadn't met before. And we were talking about how new it is to sort of like meet new people in the sort of adulthood stage of our lives and like, you know, post pandemic trying to get into things and like we're just hanging out at a house. Like we're not out at the bar on a Friday night. We're just in a house having champagne and music's playing. Like that feels very new and strange, but it's still exciting. And I was talking about how while all that goes on, I'm so prone to being in my head about what's the next best thing for me to say. Where do I fit into this conversation? How can I make that person feel good about themselves in conversation? And the new friend that I met, she tells me like, but being awkward's charming too. Like you've been a little awkward, but that's fine. Like you've just been sort of going with it. And I'm realizing that now. It's like I can just sink into who I am now because I don't have that like I don't know. I don't have that expectation anymore. I'm not constantly talking to people. Where in my job, I was always on. I'm the trainer. I have to be knowledgeable. I have to help everybody. I have to have all the answers, and everyone has to be like, I have to be available all the time and ready for anybody. And now it's just kind of like I can take it at my own pace and have a conversation like I want to. And that's new, but it's not like a worrying thing. I'm almost excited about it that I'm comfortable in my awkwardness now. That feels very natural, second nature.
Yeah, I mean, I think what kind of stands out to me as well here is you were saying everything feels so confusing now. I don't know what normal is. And you then just talked about before when I was a trainer, I was always on. You had a template for social interaction. You had a role. I'm the trainer. Here's the conversations we're supposed to have. And social interaction can kind of fit in the gaps here. And then you're no longer a trainer. Now the template for how to interact and all the people to interact with, that's the old one is gone. And now it's like, well, what's the new one to put in here?
Exactly.
What the fuck? How am I so? And like, yeah, wow, that sounds like such a tricky thing. And then on top of that, how do you explain to people, "Hi, I'm trying to relearn how to make friends. I'm sorry. Can you? I brought my notebook. Can you just give me 1 second here?" Oh man.
100%
Uh,
what that feels like. Yes, yes.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, just give me a second to kind of sit with that and process that and think about what that reality is like, because there's a part, like you said, I'm discovering myself and it's very exciting and kind of fun. And that's true. And I can see that, but I can also see the other side where it's like, I didn't even apply for this job and I got to clock in all the time. And like, what the hell? And, hmm, uh, yeah, I, I think, I think that's a significant point of growth that you found yourself in. And I guess my question would be if we had like a magic wand and you said, "Andrew, you're from the internet, you can fix anything." And I say, "Sure can." And you said, "Oh, wave this magic wand and like, let's fix this problem, however we're going to define this problem." And like, you wake up tomorrow and how is your life different than like from right now? Like today, you have this problem. I'm going to wave my wand. You're going to go to sleep. You're going to wake up tomorrow. The problem is gone. Like, how will we know? How will you know? Like, what will be even different in your life?
I would like to stop feeling so anxious about the relationships that I have. Whether it's like, did I text this right? Is this person going to perceive that well? Like, I get so wrapped up in the way people perceive me that this sounds nuts. I will go back and watch like Instagram reels or like memes or whatever that I've sent someone and open them again to imagine I am them, to see what their perspective is, to see if they'll think it is as funny as I thought they would. Like, I am constantly placing myself in other people's shoes. It is insane. I want to not care so much, but still rise to the occasion and be a good friend and be a good person when it's necessary. I just don't know how to do that on autopilot because I find when I am on autopilot with it, when I'm really not too locked in and worried, I do fine. But on a regular day to day, that is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about, I texted that friend on Tuesday and here it is Saturday and they haven't said anything. Did they not see it? Was it not funny? Did they not care? Like, and it doesn't eat me up like it used to. Like when you're in high school, you're like, oh my God, nobody likes me. What am I going to fucking do? It's just a different sort of like thing to maintain. Like, did I pay that bill? Or did I get the clothes out of the dryer last night? Like, it feels like another chore on top of everything else to worry about how people perceive what I'm putting out. And I don't want that at all. I have so many other things to do in a day. Like, I don't want to do that also. Just care less without, and the reason that's so big to me And you're absolutely right. I've talked myself to my point now. The reason that's so big to me is because I was so good at ghosting people. I've cut off people so much. I know, like, I became good at it. It's a normal behavior now. I know what it takes to let someone know I'm not fucking with you anymore. I'm done. So I don't want those behaviors to come back up when I am trying to be a good friend and not realize that it's equally hurtful or equally distancing. I'm just trying to go on autopilot.
It's there's a lot of different conflicting kind of rules that you're bumping into, it sounds like, where you have kind of the framework of a template, but the template itself has, again, like conflicting rules. So you're trying to follow the template, and then you get so jammed up. And I think some of the things that are interesting is that you can recognize, when I'm doing my autopilot, I don't really have these problems. So like these problems are not like, ah man, I have to fix my socialization, because like you keep trying to fix the socialization. I gotta see if they liked me. Did they like this? And like you have a portion of your life where you're operating congruently and functionally, and like you don't have to check your interaction. So like you have the skill set already. So like improving your social interactions is not the area that we need to like work on, because like you can already do that in a portion of your life. And it's like, well, I can drive home, but I can't drive to the store.
Right.
I mean, I think you can. um, the other thing that's so interesting is that you were talking about, I have to go back and see, did they get the message? Did they think it was funny? Was I wrong about how funny it was? Like they're not, like I've written a script for how this interaction should have gone. That's in my template, and they are not following my template, and that
Yes.
means that, did I fuck up somewhere? Because this they're supposed to be following the template. And look at, they didn't follow the rules. What have, and like the anxiety and stress and concern of, you know, did they like it? Did they not? I have to confirm. Is it working out or is it not? You said it's not as bad as it was, but it's like in high school when I was worried and felt like nobody likes me. Nobody, no, if they didn't respond to me, nobody likes me. And that is that's a strikes my ear, that if someone doesn't text you back or doesn't follow the script, then they haven't followed the script because they don't like you. What do you think, that every time somebody doesn't text you back, it's because they've decided, you know, you're terrible and I hate you and you're the worst?
I've matured enough now where I understand we're adult and we have things going on. They could have,
Mm.
been driving or sleeping after work or taking a shit. It's none of my business. And it's not so much like they didn't get back to me. It's just reading it through their eyes and understanding what they're perceptive of that message was. Like, haha, that's funny. I love when she messages me, or God, why is she like, what is this? Like, what is she sending me now? And I do that because I do that when I read messages, but I'm trying to understand, like, how to put in the front of my mind that that's just human nature. Like, people are just going to respond to stuff to, like, naturally. And everyone else seems to be so good at it but me. And that's the thing that's stressing me out, is that I don't think that my friends are having that same anxiety of like, is she really gonna think this is funny? Is she really gonna resonate with this? Why did she respond with just okay? Like, what happened? And again, I don't have the high school anxiety where I'm like nervous that, oh my God, they hate me now. But it's just sort of like, damn, did I do something? Like, what did I like?
If you did do that, right? If you send a text message and they get it and they think this isn't funny at all, I hate her. Like what we're talking about. This happens, right? The nightmare happens, bro. You send the text, they get it. Oh, fuck this bitch. No, I can't. I hate her. I never again. That happens. Would you want that friend in your life?
No. And the thing is, like, I don't know if it's yes or no, because the friends that I have at this point, the ones that I haven't cut off, are I haven't cut them off because they're brutally honest. Like, I know we all like to have that asshole friend, or like, oh, he tells it like it is, ha ha ha. And I've cut those friends out too because it's like, now you're just being mean. But the friends I have are genuinely good people that care about my well being. And like, now I'm realizing it's okay for them to not think I'm funny all the time. They're honest with me. Like, tell me I'm not funny all the time because I'm not. That's totally fine. This one thing that I thought was funny through my filter was funny to me. You didn't have to find it funny. Or like maybe the joke that I sent you, like whatever. I text my friends, "What are you doing?" Like the word water, the letter U, and then do it, as in DEW, because I think it's so funny. And I've done it for years, and they probably all hate it at this point. But I've gotten to a point where I'm like, they're still going to tell me what they're doing. Like, they're still my friend. It's fine that it's not necessarily funny to them, that they don't perceive it the way that I do. But I'm trying to turn that voice off in my head that thinks it is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I know the
I think
reality, I just can't absorb it.
when you consider the weight in terms of like value of this person's opinion about you and your communication and your opinion about you and your communication, do you think it's an even 50-50 weight, or do you think one side is weighted more or less than the other when you're evaluating yourself?
It feels 50-50 ish. Like, I'm probably sitting 40-60 with them being the 60 nowadays. But it definitely was, a 90-10 situation for a long time where I would panic anytime I sent anything. But I feel myself getting closer to 50-50. But I'm not there yet. And I think that's my problem. It's like, I just want to be there. It's like, how can I just finally get over that anxiety and just be and just talk?
Do you think there's anything else in your life that you would give other people 50% control of?
No. I'm a very controlling person. Probably not.
For a controlling person, it's surprising to hear you say then I will give at some point 60. That's the controlling share of the company. That's deciding your decision. It doesn't even matter what you think. No, and that's crazy because this is I have to say it slowly. Jameilyara. This is the Jameilyara Corporation. You sit on the board, and you can't give. I mean, you can do whatever you want, and I'll still like you and support you. I'm going to unequivocally accept your choices. So, but it seems like it would be unhappy to let another person have even a significant portion of that, because like I can't imagine, like, okay, I worked hard, I got all my money, or I made all my choices, and now a stranger's preferences come in and say like, yeah, I know that you wanted the chicken, but we're gonna get the turkey instead. Like, oh, okay, all right. And it's like, it's my money, what the fuck? um
That makes a
that was a
lot of
long
fucking
tangent,
sense.
but
No, it makes perfect sense. I've never like put it in that context before. I'm highly controlling. Like I do
mm,
art and music and I share an apartment with my boyfriend, and while I'll
mm,
ask for suggestions from people, I do what I want at the end anyway. Like we've been talking about rugs for the living room and he's like, "Yeah, I like this one." That's not the rug I ordered. The rug I ordered's going to get here and he's going to be like, "What the hell is this?" It's like I decided like this is what should happen instead because I thought it was better. And maybe that messes up his control and that's a conversation for another day. But I don't allow, yeah, I don't allow a lot of people to make decisions about other things. So I don't really understand why I let them make decisions about my feelings, about very simple conversational feelings. Whoa.
because if
Okay.
there was going to be an authority on that, it seems like I don't know who else would be the authority but you on your own communication with other people, because that would be hard if I was like a company and I made a product and sent it out and I was like only cared about what some customers saw, because like it would be, you're not going to win everything. You can't possibly win everything. And like if that is your template, that's almost guaranteeing that like you're going to feel bad sometimes about yourself, because some people aren't going to think you're funny even though you're fucking hilarious, because like you are the god of your own reality. So like if you think it's funny, then I mean, there's no question. There's not even who else. There's no space for another opinion. on if it's funny or not. Like, like you don't get to, like, just like you have no impact on when I have to go to the bathroom. You can tell me all kinds of things you want. You can turn on the water sounds. You can try to, but like ultimately, that is outside of your access to me. That is a boundary that you simply don't have access to. And you've made that boundary for so many other things in your life, the rug, your job, so many things. And I think it might be valuable to make a boundary around your sense of self, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes so much sense. It makes a lot of sense. Ugh.
Hmm.
Well, thank you. I've
Yeah.
never like been able to zoom out and look at it that way before because it does like when you think about relationships because it is so like intangible, like physically
Mm,
intangible. I never put it into
mm.
that bucket of like work and my home and going to dinner and what car I'm driving tonight. Like it's like it is in that lump. It's still me. It's all things I have control of. I've just never really like I don't know, never lined it up that way. It makes a lot of sense. It really does.
Uh, the place where I would go with this is that usually, these themes, anxiety, stress about relationships or being accepted, that is typically rooted from a sense of mm, deserving or worthiness or value to say that like I deserve and I am valuable enough that my opinion about myself, even though everybody else can say, you're terrible, you're gross, you're fat, blah 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 blah, these terrible things that like I deserve to give myself the top spot. So like, you can say whatever you want, buddy, but I can't let you affect me because like I owe it to myself. I owe it to the shareholders of Andrew Ferris Incorporation to like I can't let you do that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. It
Yeah.
really does. Oh,
I think you can do that.
I think so too. I've I feel like I've been thinking around like the cloud and now the cloud has moved a little bit so I can see like the next part of the map that I need to sort of like get into. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
I think it was kind of probably felt frustrating to try to solve all the symptom behaviors. Like, how can I solve evaluating their responses better? Like, how can I cough in a way that's less loud as opposed to like maybe I should stop coughing. That would be good.
Yeah.
Like, um, and I think you'll have a little bit of space to do that. We have only a few minutes left here. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or anything specific you wanted to touch on?
You talked about the worthiness and feeling like you deserve something. And I have thought about that recently. And
Mm,
I want to just put this out as sort of like soundbite, I guess. But I grew up in a space where my parents were very like, go get it. You can do whatever you want to do. You're capable of doing whatever you want. And they're still very much like that. And a lot of people in my life are still like that today. But that
mm,
stress, that adds stress essentially. Knowing that I can do whatever I want, but it's worrying that the whatever I want isn't the right thing. So that's something that I'm also going to sort of like think about as well in terms of like these relationships is like I could be friends with you. I very well could be, but is it the right sort of friendship for me to have? Like I know I am deserving.
mm,
I don't know I don't act on the and that's the initial reason I reached out to you is like I can't act on things because I can never make a choice. That's far too large for 30 minutes. But I that sort of still circles back to, you know, the childhood trauma of having your parents tell you you can be whatever you want. Yeah, I know, but
mm.
like, what the fuck do I do? It's like, that's very scary. And like, I can do whatever I want in these relationships and these interactions, but what am I doing the right thing, essentially? Like, that's all stuff that like I second guess myself on. But I had to stop. Just do it.
I I mean, I would love to talk to you more, and I'd love to see you again if you're ever available. But I think the question that I would ask when you say like, can I do what I want? Is it the right thing? Like, who is in charge of deciding the right thing?
That's it. I am. It's my universe. I choose the right thing, and I still can't wrap my head around that. But I have to sort of like zoom out and realize that, I guess. I'm just too neurotic.
I I don't think that's what it is. And again, you're so interesting and you're so open and vulnerable. But like the thing that I would look at is it's easy to say like, oh, I just have to do more of this. But like, that would have worked already. Like you're already a smart person. If that was already getting results, like you already would have done that. And like, if you already had the answer and you already had the solution, you would have already fixed it. So like, I don't know if it's more that. I think it would be more of there is maybe some rule or some experience or some voice in your mind that says that like, I am not allowed or deserving or I haven't earned the right to have this for myself or choose for myself or have that have that power over myself. I whatever that whatever that line of code is that was created as an error, whether that was a survival response or whatever had happened. I think that's the part to probably look at.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've loved talking to you so much, Jameilyara. I have to look at the paper every time.
It's fair. I go by Jameel also, if that's easier.
Oh, you tell me that at the end.
I did message you
Oh.
beforehand. You said if I had any notes or anything. I get your pronunciations and nicknames, but I like a full name. It's cool.
You did. You did. That's my fault.
It's all good.
Um, I'll take accountability. I'll take responsibility for that one.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I can't say how great it's been talking with you, and I hope you have such a great day, and I hope you like talking as well.
Absolutely. Fantastic time. Thank you for helping me rearrange some blocks in my mind. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, I'm gonna hit stop recording now.